we are down in Mullumbimby. We're talking to Don Coyne. Now Don is the Byron Bay BioChar man. Don, welcome.
Hi Andrew, thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
Don, I'll hand it over to you. Explain to the masses an increased awareness of biochar.
Okay, biochar is a form of charcoal. It's that simple really. Charcoal, however, is used on your barbecue as fuel, whereas the intention with biochar is to use it as a soil conditioner. So the key is to activate that biochar or that charcoal, biological charcoal, before it gets into the ground. And there's many ways of doing this, and there are many uses and benefits of using that charcoal actually before it becomes biochar. And that could actually range from using it as a building material to mix in to make a bio-cob for rendering, which breathes and regulates humidity, which is an issue in the northern rivers with all the rain that we get. Right through to looking at using it as an animal feed additive, where the charcoal is mixed in with molasses to feed the cows, and they excrete their waste, and then we're introducing a European dung beetle which ingests the charcoal further and takes it 40 centimetres down into the soil profile. And this is a game-changing scientific paper that has just come out as a result of the farmer meeting a scientist at last year's BioChar Fest that I organised last year through the Mullumbimby Community Gardens where we stand today. So this is a very exciting development and should be a game changer for biochar industry in Australia, and should we be able to meet all of the government rules and regulations, then we can actually present this as an economically viable option for farmers to reduce their agricultural inputs and increase their productivity, but most importantly be part of the great transition away from monoculture, animal agriculture and monoculture plant-based, to join the two, to integrate the two, to have a lot more diversity in the system, which is going to produce infinitely more choices for them.
Excellent, Don. Is there something you'd like to show us here in a demonstration sense?
Okay, well this is just a basic biochar kiln that any farmer, even a person, home gardener, anyone, as long as you've got a big enough property, could put on their place. And it's just using recycled materials that we've found from the Myocum tip shop here at our local council tip shop. And it's called a top-lit updraft oven, and it has primary air coming from the bottom. You'll see those holes, okay, and then we have secondary air coming in from here. And this has all been handmade at the Mullumbimby Community Gardens biochar pod, which is this site here. And then we've taken the top of the drum lid off using a bolster, and we've just cut using tin snips and folded it back to create a chimney. So we put our bamboo, predominantly we use bamboo here, so you cut the bamboo into the appropriate length and split it, Dry it out, it needs to be dry, and then we vertically place it in the biochar kiln. We light the top, we light it from the top, so you've got to have kindling in the top as well. So you light the top, and the fire as such burns down, okay? So once it's alight, we then shut off the oxygen. Biochar is any form of biomass heated in an oxygen deprived environment. So we are now closing off that interior to the oxygen, and then we pop the chimney on to get the draw coming up through the primary air at the bottom and going up into the atmosphere there. Now, if your material is dry, you won't even see a flame. All you will see is the heat shimmer from the process. So the fire burns down, and we sometimes put our pot belly on our little teapot on there to make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and so we're capturing the heat. You can put other material on the top to dry it out quicker. And then as it burns down, the flame goes out, and once the flame goes out, you know that the material at the bottom is ready to be doused with water, and then activated in a liquid of liquid fertilizer or something like that. Wood vinegar is another good liquid to activate the biochar in. So you soak it in a bath of wood vinegar, diluted wood vinegar overnight for 24 hours, and then we drain off that liquid, and that liquid can also be a foliar spray, liquid fertilizer for your plants. It also will keep you know, the plants more robust and healthy and more resilient to pests and diseases. And then you mix in that biochar now activated into the top 30 to 40 centimetres of your food garden bed. You know, usually it's good used in veggie gardens, but it could be for native plantings or exotics. You know, it doesn't matter. So you shouldn't plant straight away. You should just let the soil and the biochar get to know each other for a week or so. But after that, you can pretty much plant. And the results are showing that it will increase plant productivity, and you'll have a much more robust plant with less input. So you'll require less input, less fertiliser, less pesticides, fungicides, and water. Biochar will hold 6 times its weight in water, and therefore you can drought-proof your garden or farm using this method, and within reason, of course. These extreme El Nino events that we're about to confront are unknown waters. We're chartering in unknown waters now, but biochar is proven to be a solution to global warming, because this whole process, if you capture the energy, which is bioenergy, and this can be scaled up to industrial scale, and you get charcoal, and then you get the water product, which is the wood vinegar, and those three byproducts make the whole process actually carbon, I call it positive. Some people call it negative, carbon negative, but I call it positive because it's positive for the environment. But what it's actually doing is it's reversing the carbon, slowing down, if you like, the carbon cycle. So what we've done in digging up the fossil fuels, which is millions and millions of years old of carbon, we've just dug it up from underground, put it into our petrol tanks. It comes straight out our exhaust pipes and straight up into the atmosphere. So this has been scientifically proven to be driving temperatures, and they're predicting that that will get up to 4 degrees by 2100. So this is not a future that I want, and I'm sure a lot of others are with me on this. And so biochar is one of the major solutions to that issue that we've got.
That's a great segue, Don, because solutions is what the Infinite Choices Convention is all about. You've mentioned waste, you've mentioned farming, science, you've mentioned bamboo. Are there any other industry applications and or beneficiaries from upscaling biochar to others through symbiosis or choices that connect across agendas, across industries?
So you can use any form of biomass to make biochar. So you could even look at rubber tyres, for instance. You could carbonise rubber tyres, and it's been doing elsewhere in the world. And any toxic gases are combusted before they enter the atmosphere, and you get a carbon product. Wouldn't be used as biochar. It might be used as black ink in printers, in our printers, or 3D printing. 3D printers are using a lot of these sort of like graphene-like materials. So you'd have a black carbon product there, and then you'd have an ink. The ink would come out, and we've been using ink for quite some time, and so that would have once again infinite cascading uses to a wide range of industries. Yeah.
Just one last final question, Don. I've got a lot of imagination around how we could rehabilitate mine sites to be more productive post-mine life. In an equation of getting rid of the contaminations of the mine site, could biochar play a role in a reinvented reuse of that land?
Yes, it does, and it has. And we have scientific data on that. And this has been done down in the Hunter region, where there's a lot of quarries, open cut mines, as we know. And unfortunately, the mining industry is not doing a lot of rehabilitation at the moment. And just so happens there's no budget for rehabilitation at the moment much.
Now, I understand where you're coming from there, but I think industrial innovators and entrepreneurs like you, if we connect in the right spaces, we can bring the mining industry out of its isolation to value the support that you and others could offer.
Yes. The work that's been done by the Crucible Group and also Pyro Ag is once again an incredible game changer for mine rehabilitation, using both the charcoal slash biochar and the wood vinegar products to remediate these soils.
Well, Don, I thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to Don presenting at our event and being part of the symbiosis where we can upscale and increase the awareness of biochar. Thank you, Don.
Charles.
Charles, good man.